everyone, welcome to the health tip this week. Today we're going to talk about babies and milestones and some really important stuff for who we become as adults. So we're going to talk about tummy time a little bit and some of the milestones that kids have as they're going through their developmental phases. So what is a milestone? It's sort of like it's just kind of like the neurological development and how it's helping the baby adapt and respond to the environment. So a lot of people say that who you become as an adult is really determined in the first 2 years of your life. So those first 2 years of being here is really important for setting up a baseline stuff for who you become neurologically, how you think and feel and respond to your world and all sorts of things. So laying that groundwork in the first 2 years is really important. We want to make sure that the best signals are going into the system to get the best output. So when you have these milestones, they're kind of developed in two different things. So we call them neurological pre-programmed feedback loops. So like for example, put the arm out, touches something, it feels the pressure, there's a feedback loop. What does the arm do? Does it push against it? Does it pull away, depending on what the stimulus is? So we have these little feedback loops going on all the time with the baby as it's perceiving the environment, feeling things and developing things. So some of these things are pre-programmed into the baby to kind of have a specific response to a certain stimulus. And the other thing is the ability to build on a previous milestone, and that's a really important factor in how kids develop, especially in their intellect, because a lot of our thinking smarts comes from having baseline body smarts. So some of the milestones at the very beginning, it's really important that they're there, the child goes through the milestone, it develops properly, because it's really important for how things will develop later on. So we say that a lot of these primitive reflexes that babies have that are just built-in quick responses to certain movements, those reflexes, when the brain starts to get healthier, will become what we call postural reflexes, where the baby's kind of determining where it is in space and how it can hold itself up in the posture. So a lot of these things are one thing kind of builds on the other. So we say that, for example, the ability to creep and crawl and stand and walk, all of those things in the brainstem of the baby, there's like these pre-programmed loops of feeling what we call proprioception, meaning where the baby's joints are in space, feeling where your body is, basically. So there's this pre-programmed loops that are feeling the proprioception of the body, and the better the signals coming in from the body, the better it will develop the forward parts of the brain. So we always say that how well the spine is moving is a really big factor in how well those signals are going up. So if you think about maybe a traumatic birth that may have caused like a really stuck vertebrae or some really bad contractions on one side, when the baby's lifting its head or trying to move and that kind of thing, if this is always kind of stuck and not moving, it's getting signals from one side of the body but not signals from the other, and that can start to develop asymmetries in how the brain is sending signals to the front part of the brain. And the front part of the brain is where we'll start to develop our social skills, because a lot of our social ability is dependent on our neurological and milestone ability that was developed in the early days. Like how you can move and think and feel in the environment becomes how you express yourself in your social interactions. The more you can move in your environment and be in a healthy sort of pattern, the more you can have healthy patterns of social interactions later on in life. So that's just some of the things I wanted to kind of bring up a little bit, and tummy time is obviously an important thing for having the baby lift up their head and challenge the muscles and challenge the system and start sending in different feedback and system loops into the system to develop the brain and develop the baby's health and expression. So once again, our chiropractic care is really important to make sure that all of those things are working as healthfully as they can and the motion is as clear as it can be through the spine to send the best signals to the brain to get those milestones developed and get your baby developing and growing as healthy as possible. So that was your health tip for this week. Hopefully that was helpful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.